Got one. Oh yeah. That's another one. Okay. All right, guys, check it out. Another bluegill, one of the biggest bluegills I've ever caught. Oh yeah, baby. On the Cinco. The Cincos are coming to Bendoski PowerFishing box. Oh yeah, baby. Another one. Oh, big old bass. Tried to get it too. Ho ho.
Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to catch a ton of panfish, and we're doing a catching trick.
There you go, that's the spinner. Number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, here goes the blue guy.
Alright, as I mentioned, in this video we are talking about how to catch more and more panfish. And we're also going to do a catch and cook. So we did the whole system from setting up everything to catching the fish and how to do that, and then how to cook them and how we like to eat them. So here we go, we'll get into the video. But real quick, you guys know me, I'm Josh Bendoski, founder of BendoskiPowerFishing.com and home of the Bendoski PowerFishing subscription box, where we put all the different stuff that you see us catching thousands and thousands of fish on YouTube. I dropped one. On YouTube, we put all the different things that you see us catching all those fish on in this box. It's a monthly subscription. It changes new stuff every month. About a $35 worth of tackle for only $16.99. So we highly recommend that you check that out. Now let me get into the rods that I was using. So we were pan fishing, and one of the really cool things about pan fishing is it's such a great time for kids. You know, a lot of times we go out and try and catch larger fish or a certain type of fish, and we're kind of targeting things. But if you target panfish, especially in a lake or a reservoir where there's lots of panfish, it is an absolute blast for kids. And so that's what this video is all about. And in fact, in this video, I'm also going to go into all the technical knots that I use. So normally I just referenced you to go to a different YouTube video of mine that has the knots, but this time I'm going to do it all inside of one. So if you know how to tie your knots, then once I get to the knot section, you can just fast forward to see us catching the fish. And we've got a lot of great tips. So let me go over the gear that we're using. I was using, of course, my signature series, Jared Johnson signature series Velocity rod and reel combo, 6'6". You guys know me, this is one of my favorite rods. We primarily, with our spinning rods, we primarily stick with the Velocity brand almost exclusively. And these are available at BendoskiPowerFishing.com. You can get these rod and reel combos. But really phenomenal combo, they're only $49. So they're an affordable option for a really great rod. So on this I was running 2 poles, so I was running the Velocity rod and reel spin combo, and then the other one that I was using, and then I'll get into the setups. This is my Fenwick 7-foot bait casting combo, and it's paired up with a Blasino low profile bait caster. Now bait casters are a little bit more challenging to learn, but once you learn them, they're much stronger. They're a much stronger reel. So and they work a lot better with heavier lures. But anyways, this is more of a bass reel. But I was chasing bass, but we were primarily focused on panfish for the video, because you know a lot of times you can catch you know 2 or 3 big fish, or you can catch 15, 20 little fish. And for kids specifically, or anybody that wants to panfish, that can be a lot of fun to catch a lot more fish on days where you just feel like slamming them all day as opposed to chasing the big ones. So anyways, what I was using, what I always use is either I use braid, and then this one is 20-pound braid to about a 10-foot fluorocarbon leader. And I'll show you here coming up when I get into the knot section. I hook them with a double Uni Knot together, line to line, so that slips through the eyelets. And then on the very end, in the video itself, I actually had a red jig head, but on the end I put a swivel. And some people give me heat for using swivels, but I've never seen it make a huge difference. But anyways, that one was a red one, but this happens to be green, to a Cinco worm. And coming up here in the video, I'll show you exactly how to set that up. But that was this rod and reel combo, and we caught quite a few sunfish. Now I wanted to say real quick, sometimes we call them bluegill. Bluegill is a large family. They're all part of the same family, bluegills and sunfish, and there's a lot of different variations of sunfish. And so sometimes we just call them bluegills just because we're just kind of used to that. But either way, they are different. They're sunfish. And the interesting thing about this is the sunfish, some of the other varieties, not the specific bluegill variety, but the other varieties have a larger mouth. And they were actually hitting this Cinco. I'll probably put an image right here to show you the size of a fish compared to this Cinco that were hitting this Cinco. So that was pretty fun. So we caught quite a few sunfish and bluegill on this setup. But what this video is about is gonna be more of this other setup that I wanted to show you. So this is my spinning reel. So I have 20-pound braid, same thing, 20-pound braid, and this time I go from the braid. I put the bobber on last, so I'll go over that in just a second. But I go 20-pound braid to a swivel, and then I snap on what is called the Bendoski Buffet. And all the Bendoski Buffet really is 3 hooks with separate bait on each hook. And once you dial in exactly what bait they're hitting, that's when you put that same bait on all 3 hooks. Now, one of the important tips of this video is I usually start out with a number 2 hook, and I go over this when I get into the knot section, but just briefly here I'll mention it. But sometimes when you're pan fishing, that number 2 hook is too big for the fish to bite. So let's say this is, this is the hook. Their mouths, see, they're taking your bait off the end of the hook. This is your hook right here, and they're taking the bait off, but their mouth's not big enough to get the hook into their mouth. And so one of the best tips I can give you for pan fishing is that if you're out there and you're tossing your bait and you're seeing the fish and they're kind of nipping at it and your bobber's kind of moving a little bit and they're nipping at it, and then you come back and there's no worms left on it, that's when you need to downsize your hook. So now you got a much smaller hook, like a pinky, if you can see that, like my pinky, as if that was a hook. Anyways, then, well, maybe I'll just do this, like, well, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. So they're clamping like this and they're getting it, but as you get a smaller hook, then they can get that hook in their mouth. When they try to bite the worm, they get the hook in the mouth. And then you can pop them, and we were getting them every single cast. It was so fun pan fishing. Now, the other thing I'll say is that if it's not like a dead stick that you can kind of just leave out there. You can, and you will hook up some fish, but sometimes when you're pan fishing, you need to hook set them because their mouths are so small that the hook is in their mouth, but it's not necessarily puncturing anything, right? So you got to watch that bobber and pop. As soon as you see that bobber even just dip, boom, snap it, and then you'll be catching them the whole time. And so that was really, really, really fun. So now let me just actually talk about this bobber because I skipped over it. I put the bobber about 3 feet so that there's probably 3 feet between my bobber and my last hook, my 3rd hook. Where in the Rocky Mountains where I live, you can only use 3 hooks on a line. So we've got 3 hooks here. And so, but I was seeing in the water column, I could see where the fish were at, and they were about 3 feet to anywhere between 2 to 4 feet in the water column. So I put this bobber on, so now I had a night crawler at a foot under the surface, then about 2.5 feet under the surface, and then about 3.5 feet under the surface. So I got bait at 3 different places in the water column where I can kind of see where they're at, because I could see them in the shallows right here, and they were looking at it, and at first they were picking off the worms, but then when we downsized our hooks, so I went from a number 2 to a number 6. But the bottom line is you just downsize your hook until these fish, wherever you're at, those fish are able to get that hook into their mouth. That is going to get you a tremendous amount more hookup ratio, and you're not going to lose your bait. Oh, and real quick, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video if you want to check out more of our videos on showing you how to do catch and cooks, how to catch more fish, how to target specific types of fish, like if you want to go for kokanee or for catfish or for panfish. So feel free to subscribe and turn on all of your notifications. You know, you get all of our updates when we upload new videos. And the last thing I want to talk about is we have a fishing contest, an ongoing fishing contest. Every 60 days, we have 4 winners for the longest trout and the longest bass. We're not going to worry about weighing them and things like that, but just the longest trout and the longest bass. And I will put a link in the description of the video that has all the rules on that. But every 60 days, we have 4 winners. We have a first place who gets 3 months supply of the Bendoski PowerFishing box. Second place gets their first box for free. Third place gets a tackle package, and I think third place gets a tackle package as well. But either way, check the video and the Facebook group associated with that, because that is where all the instructions are for that. And we do have a youth one, which is 17 and younger, and then we have 4. So we have 4 winners in the youth category, and then 4 winners for just everybody else. So check that out, and now let's get into the video. Okay guys, let me show you what I had as my setups for the pan fishing video. I already went over the rods and everything, so this is just going to be how to tie the knots and how to get this thing, this setup really rocking and rolling. So we caught fish on quite a few things, as you'll see in the video. We caught, 15 fish or so, and I'll show you kind of how we got to that. So what we did is, this is how you rig up the Senko. This is the first setup that I used. Just like a regular jig. Sometimes I do it weedless, but these hooks are kind of small because we're going for panfish. Just put it in through here, and then pop it out the backside there, and push that up on top of that little bulb there. So pretty simple, right? And surprisingly enough, we were catching bluegill, but we were also catching sunfish. They're actually part of the same family, so sometimes we just call them all bluegills, but some of them are different types of sunfish. There's all different kinds. But anyways, that's how you set it up. And then I was surprised that they would slam this this whole worm. I mean, you'll see in the video, the fish are pretty. They're good size for panfish, but they're still small compared to this worm. But anyways, so that was the first setup. And then we were catching quite a few sunfish. Their mouths are just a little bit bigger than the traditional bluegill. But anyways, so I kept seeing that that there was a lot of sunfish in the water column, and so I changed to, or there's a lot of bluegill in the water column. So I changed to a smaller marabou. This isn't the same exact one. The one in the video is a little bit different, but these come in the Bendoski PowerFishing box as well. And I just switched to a little marabou. Okay. And when you're going for smaller fish like panfish, when you resize your hooks to a smaller hook, it will dramatically increase your hookup ratios. And then on my dead sticks pole, my spinning rod, I started out, of course, with the Bendoski Buffet, and I actually started out with a number 2 hook. I love number 2 hooks. And if you ever see, if you're ever fishing and you get, the fish are taking the bait, they're taking the worm, they're pulling the worm off, and you're not getting, you just keep coming in with bare hooks, but you're not getting in the hookup, and you can see them kind of biting it, right? So what happens is their mouths are too small to bite the hook. So they're coming up and they're dinging the hook, they're grabbing, they're biting the worm, but their mouth's too small. So it goes dink, dink, and they can get the worm, but the hook is not getting in their mouth because it's too small. But you can see your bobber shaking, you can see the fish on it. And so what you need to do is switch to smaller hooks. So I went from a number 2 to, if I have any more in here, a number 6. But that's okay. I'll set it up with some that are just a little bit smaller than that, which is totally fine if you're pan fishing. You can go smaller, no problem. So I did the Bendoski Buffet at first with the larger hooks, and then I switched to the smaller hooks. And I'll set this up. The other thing is that we could see tons and tons and tons of bluegills and panfish, and they're only about 3 feet underwater. And so with this, I was fishing off the bottom, right? I was fishing off the bottom and I was still catching them, but usually when I got closer to the shore, into the shallows, when I popped it up. So what I did is used a bobber, and I'll set this up for you, but I put the bobber about 3 feet up the line. And so when the Bendoski Buffet, as opposed to sitting on the bottom, which we do a lot of times with catfishing and other things like that, what we wanted to do was suspend it so that those three baits are right in the zone of where all the bluegill are swimming at. And so let me go ahead and show you how to set this up, and then we will go from there. So as I mentioned, this is 20-pound braid, and I will go to with this one, I'll go to a swivel. Okay. And what I'm going to do is a Uni Knot. I'll do it, actually let me do it here first and then you can see me tie it. So a Uni Knot, they're pretty simple. I've got a video that's very short that just shows the knot itself. Okay, so this is the Uni Knot. You got your main line coming from your rod here, and this is your tag end. So you just slip it through the hook. You can see that. And then you come over here and you just make an overhand loop, just like this, just a circle. See that? Just a one circle back on itself, just like that. Okay? So then you have your circle and you just pinch it with your thumb. So you got your main line and then your circle. Okay? And I like to make it a little tight with my finger, like that, but it's the same thing, it's that same loop, okay? And then you're going to go take this side, the side that came through the loop, and you're just going to wrap both those two, your main line and your tag right here. 1, 2. Now depending on the size of the fish that you're going after, you could do, I usually do 3 or 4, but you could do 6, 7, 8, depending on what size of fish you're going after. And then you just pull this down tight. Just like that. And that is a Uni Knot. It's my favorite knot. I use it on just about everything. So that's real quick how to tie a Uni Knot. Alright, so now I'll go ahead and tie it on then. So this is my spin casting reel, my Jared Johnson Signature Series. And I will grab a swivel. And same thing, it's just going to be hard to see. And this is my braid. So, make my loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, and tighten it down. Extremely strong knot. And go ahead and clip your tag. Perfect. Now what I'll do is put on my Bendoski Buffet. So I've got my fluorocarbon here. A little tangled. And you want to pull off about 3 feet of line. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm going to snell 2 hooks, and I'll show you how to snell. And then I'm going to do a Uni Knot on my bottom hook. And then at the very top, I'm going to do a surgeon's knot. So let me show you how this works. Okay, so real quick, I will show you how to snell a hook. This isn't the most ideal thing to use, but it's all I got at the moment, so I'll show you how to do it. So remember, with this one you just have a leader line, so this would just be your leader. It's not connected to your rod yet, so you have just 2 ends here. But you want to notate that this one we're going to say is going to be the bottom, because you need the top, the one you're going to hook and do a surgeon's knot, you need that line free. So
you technically could have already put on your bottom hook if you wanted to. You could throw that on there. So what you do is you just stick your line in through the hook, and this is going to be your main line. So you want to make sure your hook's facing down. So all you're doing is just pulling some of that. You got two ends, and you're just pulling some through the line here, okay? And then you're going to take your line that's going to go to the next hook, and you're going to wrap it just like this. Get a little closer. And you just wrap it just like that a couple of times, and then you take that same line that's going to go up and get onto the next hook, and you put it back through here, okay? And that is how you snell a hook. So then you would go up to the next hook. Okay, these are going to be pretty close together. Same thing, go in, and you would technically, if this had something, you would wrap it like this, and then go back through, and then you would have, you know, two hooks on the line just like that. So, and then this one would be much longer, and it would turn into the surgeon's knot at the top, but that's how you would snell them. This one, more realistically, this one doesn't have kind of a post, but you get the idea. It's that same process. So the way you snell a hook is, where those three, okay, perfect. So you put on your second hook, and you slide this in here, and you want to get it to about the right length. You want these to be about evenly spaced out. Right there. Now, let's see if I can come up close here. So this is your tagline. This is going to end up with the last hook. This one's going to go up to the surgeon's knot on the second hook. So what you do is you put the line going down, so the hook is going down, and then you wrap it around the posts 5, 6, 7 times, and then you put the tagline back through the eye. You can see this. Pretty small hooks. Yeah, there we go. Okay, good. And you just pull that through, and that will hook that hook right on that line, super strong. And you can do this with multiple hooks. You can do this with as many hooks as you want to. You know, you just got to watch the regulations wherever you're fishing, but you could put 10 hooks on a line just by using this without having to tie separate knots. So then you come and grab your third hook. This one's going to be the closest to your rod. So just like I mentioned, put this through the eye. I know it's hard to see. I'm going to do it with the rope as well. Hold on one second. Like I said, evenly spaced. Perfect. About a foot between them both. Make sure the hook is facing down. And you just run that around that post. Very strong knot. Okay. Pull that tight. And then at the bottom, we're going to do that same knot I just showed you, the Uni Knot. So just like I showed you before, grab your tag side, make the loop with your finger, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then
that nice and tight. There you go. So now this line has 3 hooks on it. This is what we call the Bendoski Buffet. Okay, so here's how you tie a surgeon's knot. And then you have your tag line. And what we're going to do is just create a loop that then goes inside of your swivel. Let's say this is the swivel, okay? So all we're going to do is just create the loop that goes inside of here. So, get a little closer for this one. This one's... Okay, so, right here. What you want to do is you want to do a big loop. Okay? Can you guys see that? So just a big loop just in your line, just like that. Okay? And then you're going to do behind it, you're going to do a medium loop. Okay? So big loop, behind it a medium loop. Okay? And now here's the tricky part. Then you want to do a small loop in between those two. So a small one goes in between those two. And then what you do is you grab the medium loop through the big loop. You grab the medium loop and you pull it all tight. Just like that. And this gives you your loop, and then you can switch out your, like I showed you with the last rod, you can switch out your stuff quick. You know, you could put this on, and if that's not working, you could throw on something like this. So let me finish doing this one, and I'll show you exactly how that works. But it's a very, very good knot, super strong, and it's a very quick and effective way to hook your to swap out setups very quickly. Okay, now for the very top, this is the surgeon's knot, and I'll do this one with the rope as well as soon as I finish. So with the surgeon's knot, you make a big loop, a medium loop, and then in between those two, oh, I need a little more here. So you make a big loop, a medium loop, and then a small loop. And then you grab the medium loop and pull it through the big loop. I know it's kind of may seem a little complicated when you first see it, but the way you'll know it's done right is that your tag line will be pointing straight out to the side. And this is what we do. Clip your tag. And then you'll want to just grab your spin rod. And that's why I like to use the swivel, because it's very quick to just pop this on. Just like that. And then this one is completely set up, ready to go. And because we downsized the hooks, we started slamming them almost every cast. Okay, one other thing I wanted to show you guys is from here. So this is about 3 feet, right? So if we put the bobber just up here, the first hook will be about a foot and a half underwater, and then another foot down and another foot down. So you got three hooks, 3 chances, and then you just hook your bobber on. And when I do the, you just hook your bobber on like this. Wrap it a couple of times on the top, and then you want to wrap it a couple of times on the bottom. And now that bobber's not going anywhere. Okay, so with this rod, we're going to do this same thing. We're going to do what's called a double uni knot, but it's very simple. It's just 2 uni knots, one on each side, that slide down on top of each other. I'm going to do it relatively quick because I already showed you on the rope how to do it, but it's just the same knot on both sides. So 1, and start with the braid side first. 2, 3, 4. Because the braid will turn into a knot very quickly, where this fluorocarbon, because I'm using 20-pound fluorocarbon and 20-pound braid. Okay. You want to make sure this is tight, the fluorocarbon knot. There you go. Tighten those right down on top of each other. That is a super, super, super strong knot. Yep. Cut your tags. And now, and you want to make sure, especially with when you're doing it on a bait caster like this, that you cut your tag pretty short. Your Uni Knot, because because fluorocarbon is a very stiff. The braid is not as big of a deal because it's fabric, but you want it to be able to run through the guides easily. There you go. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Now, you'll reel this in a little bit, and then you'll do a swivel or a snap. Sometimes I'll just use a snap, sometimes I'll use a swivel. But you just do a Uni Knot. I like to do a Uni Knot. One last Uni Knot. And this is one of the reasons why you want to set up the night before. Another good tip in this video is setting up the night before, because it takes a decent amount of time if you wait till you get there when you could be fishing. Perfect. Cut your tag line. And this is why I like swivels so much, because I could go like this. Once my rod's all set up and I'm out there, I can go like this. I could toss that for, you know, 10-15 minutes if it's catching fish, or if it isn't, instead of having to tie up again, which I'm really quick at tying, but still not as fast as this. Pop that off. Okay, maybe let's try the marabou. You know, it's speed more than anything, and I haven't seen it make that big of a difference. Some people say it does. Some people say it does, and you know, everybody's got their own jam. And then if that didn't work, I could throw on a different color of that. I could throw on, you know, a popper, throw on a frog, you know, a little jerkbait, different kind of color of worms. You know, there's all kinds of stuff, and you can switch it out so fast. So this is one of the months of the Bendoski Power Fishing box. So as you can see, we put a lot of stuff in here, and it's about $30 to $35 worth of value, only $16.99, and just highly recommend that you check it out. You know, it's a subscription, but you can cancel anytime, and we try to give you guys as much stuff as we can so that you guys can catch tons and tons of fish just like we do.
It's a little sheep, a sheep. Okay, Josh Bendoski, BendoskiPowerFishing.com. Check us out on YouTube. Oh, look how beautiful that is behind me. First bluegill of the day, little guy, but hey, we're not skunked. Got one. Booyah! That's another one. Okay, guys, this one, luckily I was recording. Heck yeah. Nice, another beautiful bluegill. Look at this. Pretty big size over here, but still. Hit the Cinco worm. Booyah, baby. Number 3 for me. Okay, suckers, look at this on the Cinco. This is just a little blue guy, but he went straight for the Cinco. Boom, tip with a little red ball. Booyah, baby. Look how beautiful that is. All right, well, let's start fishing. gonna show you guys how to catch a bunch of these guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, another cute little bluegill. Let's see. Get him in the sun for you. Cute little bluegill. Boo yeah, baby. Another one. Oh, big old bass has tried to get it too. Whoa. There's a big bass right here. Tried to eat this guy. Another one bites the dust. Ouch, and another one's gone. Good girl, let me see. Now, hold on. Let me see him first. Nice fat bluegill. Oh, lost one. Haha, good girl. There you go, guys. Asia got a nice fatty.
Got my own dinner.
Hold on. There's Asia with a little fish. All right, guys, again. Whoops, hang on a second. Oh, he's pissed. Hey, how about this for a bite indicator, huh? Instead of a bell, we got a dragonfly out. We'll know for sure if we get a fish with this guy hanging out. All right, guys, check it out. Another bluegill, one of the biggest bluegills I've ever caught. Oh yeah, baby. On the Cinco. The Cincos that come in the BendoskiPowerFishing box. Yes, sir. Asia just caught a nice fat bluegill. Good job, girl. I'm gonna eat this guy catch and cook style. All right, guys. I'll show you how to clean a bluegill real quick. Do a catch and cook. So you stick your knife in that little hole. So open them up like that. And you want to grab your pliers. And just reach in here and pull out their guts. Just like that. Go in there and you pull out all their guts. And just like that, this guy is cleaned out, ready for the grill. Okay, cool. So now that we got our fish cleaned up, we are going to stuff just a tiny little piece of lemon inside of them. Oh, get out of here. Now these are panfish, so they're kind of small, so we're going to cut some small wedges real quick. There we go. So, next we will grab a fish from here. A small bluegill, probably just a couple of bites on it, but we'll just do it. As you saw, we cleaned them out at the lake, and then we just rinsed them off with some regular water. So, season them up. I like to use lemon pepper. And the most important part is that you get it inside there. That's really where flavor is going to come from. And then stick a little piece of lemon in there. Just like that. And we'll do one more on camera. And he's ready to go on the grill, and I'll put him on in just a second. Let me grab one more. This is a sunfish. So we'll try him as well. Season them up. Make sure that you get inside here. And then stuff just a little piece of a lemon in there. Perfect. Okay, we'll throw these two on the grill. Fire it up. That's our catch. We got a lot more. All right, so check it out. Yeah, here we came back to the house. We went and caught all those panfish. It was super fun. We're doing the catch and cook. We got them dialed in with the lemon pepper, lemons. We're also gonna, ouch! We're also gonna, we're also gonna have some corn, and we're just gonna have just a bomb barbecue right here. So this is the catch and cook, and we're super excited, and we'll let you know how it goes. All right, so check it out. Here's the final product. We got lemons, we got our fish, and some corn. So I'm gonna show you how to get into these and how we eat them. All right, so check it out. So we're all set here, but panfish, there's an interesting way that I like to eat them. Just like you saw, we grilled them up. So this one, the scales came off, so you could technically just open this up. But I'm gonna get the meat off first. And you just wanna open it up and get it off the scales. See that? Now I like to put it in a little pile over here. You want to watch out for the bones, and if you pull it off, they shouldn't have any bones in them. They should be just fine. So white meat, good fish. Now just because that one was already set up, that's how I'll do that one. But then normally what we do is we go in here and we break them open, just like that. And then you can get the meat off right here off the scales. These are kind of smaller fish, so there's not a lot of meat on them, but there's some. The back meat right here, there's good back meat. You just kind of go in there and you dig around, and you get all the meat that you can. Right here, see here's a nice good chunk. Back meat, boneless. And once you get that all dialed in, there's a lot more on there I'll pick through, but I just want to just wrap this up here. Just put some lemon on it, some salt. And this is how you can eat in the wild seafood, fresh seafood. We just caught this about an hour ago. That's good. With the lemon too, especially. Fresh lemon. If you don't have fresh lemon, use the other kind, but fresh lemon is by far the best.